Good morning, everyone. Well, today is day 20 of 100 Ways to Motivate Yourself. Bear with me a moment. I want to make sure the volume's up. Okay, so today's gold, you guys. This is something that I think so many of us are plagued with. I know I was plagued with it. I know I overcame it. And today I want to share with you how I did it. Wasn't easy, but I want to possibly share this with you with my personal example because it just might free somebody out there. So today is day 20 of 100 Ways to Motivate Yourself. And if you're on live, would you please let me know if you can hear me, because I did receive an error from Facebook. So I don't even know if anybody is hearing this. So I'm just going to start. If you can hear me, give me a thumbs up or something so I know that I don't need to restart this. All right, so day 20 is gold. This one is called Leave High School Forever. So if you're anything like me, you graduated high school a few years ago. And there's a good possibility that on some level you're still living in it. Michelle, if you could, let me know if you can hear me okay. I'm a little bit concerned that the volume isn't working or that I'm completely, you know what, it must be working. You just joined. So I'm going to keep going. So day 20 is Leave High School Forever, and this is gold. I'm not even kidding you, gold. So the author talks about how, and I'm just going to read a tiny little nugget of it for you. Most of us feel like we've been left stranded in high school forever. Like something happened there that we've never been able to shake off. Does anybody relate to that? Like, did something happen to you in high school that you just simply can't shake? It's become a part of your identity. Before high school, in our earlier and more carefree childhoods, we were creative dreamers filled with boundless sense of energy and wonder. I mean, think about who you were when you were, in grade school, in elementary school, before anybody had formed your identity for you. I mean, there wasn't anything you wouldn't try. There isn't anybody you wouldn't race, You were just this creative spirit. Hey, Cindy, would you let me know if you can hear me, honey? But then something happened between junior high and high school that completely changed us. I mean, I'm very hopeful that for you, it changed you for the better. But for some people, high school manifested within us something that has completely shaped our entire lives. Let's see. In high school, something got turned around. For the first time in our lives, we began fearing what other people were thinking of us. All of a sudden, our mission in life became not to be embarrassed. So in high school, you weren't concerned with who you were being and how you were showing up. You were more concerned with just please don't embarrass yourself. We were afraid to look bad, and so we made it a point not to take risks. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but in high school, I tried to just fly low. I didn't want to do anything that was going to cause any chaos more than the drama I'd already created. And so the habit of worrying more about what other people think of our thoughts than what we think about our own thinking usually begins in high school, but it can last a lifetime. Hi, Cindy. Thank you. It can last a lifetime. So the author goes in to talk about how when he was in high school, he had a classmate and they would walk home from school together. And one day, while they were walking home from school together, his friend stopped dead in his tracks, looked down at himself, and realized that he had missed a belt loop on his belt, like putting his belt on. And he was mortified that people had seen that and what they had thought about him. It's just a small example of how, something so small and so trivial, we think other people are noticing about us. And so a lot of our identity gets shaped from that when we're in these pivotal teenage years, junior high, high school, and how much it really does affect you from the rest of your life on. It's time to be aware that what we're doing, and once again, and to just leave high school behind us, to realize that you're putting more stock and value into what other people think about you instead of what you feel and what you think about you. It's time to reach back to those pre-high school days of innocent creativity and social fearlessness and draw on your former self. I remember like just how stinking brave I was before, I started junior high and high school. I would like try to, well, I could go and tell you guys stories forever, but that's irrelevant. Most people don't realize how easily they can create the social fearlessness that they want to have. Instead, they live like they are still teenagers. Anybody guilty of that? Reacting to the imagined judgments of other people. They end up designing their lives based on what other people think about them. A life designed by a teenager, would you want one of those? I mean, teenagers are great, right? But would you want to live a life that they designed for you? So you need to ask yourself, are you? But you can leave that mindset behind you. You can motivate yourself all by yourself without depending on the opinions of others. All it takes is a simple question. And as Emerson asked, why should the way I feel depend on the thoughts in somebody else's head? Think about that. Why should what you feel depend on the thoughts from somebody else? You guys, that's huge. And so many of us are totally stuck with that. We're more concerned with what other people think about us than we are what we think about us. And the truth is, what somebody else thinks about you is none of your business. I mean, I know that's hard to hear, but I don't mean it from the standpoint of, stop being nosy. But it's really none of your business, because think about all the things you think about other people. Do you want them to know that? No, you don't. I can assure you, you don't. So if you worry about what other people think about you, then you need to ask yourself why and start to question, where did it come from? When did it start? And what is the thought that you're believing about yourself? And just start to really question whether or not it's true. So in my case, I let somebody in my youth tell me who I was. You guys, a lot of you, if you follow me or you've watched my live videos, you know that I had an incident when I was younger when somebody told me I was ugly. And do you know that the rest of my life, seriously, the rest of my life, probably until I was about, 40, the rest of my life, I went around collecting evidence to validate that thought. I would self-sabotage because I thought, and this was totally subconscious. This wasn't anything I was like, saying, oh, today I got to go, collect evidence of it. No. But one day, while I was kind of getting close to what it was that I needed to do in, my life and what I wanted to be when I grew up, as I started to uncover the layers of why I was the way I was and why I thought the way I thought, I started to question, why do I think I'm ugly? Where did that come from? And I was able to take it back and able to say, you know what, somebody told me that, and is it true? Do I think I'm ugly? And at the end of the day, no, I don't think I'm ugly. And I'm the only person who needs to care about what I think and feel about myself. And so it dawned on me that, I need to leave high school behind me. And so I questioned it. I realized that it wasn't true. I realized I had a choice in my thinking and that I could choose a different thought. And so I did. And I'm totally free now, you guys. I am, I'm free because I realize that I have a choice in my thoughts. I have a choice that what somebody else thinks about me, they're allowed to think about me because it doesn't affect me anymore. And I started to learn as I went through my life coach training that our feelings come from our thoughts. So if you're feeling something, like in my case, if I felt ugly, I needed to realize that it was from a thought. And if I didn't like the thought, I could just think a new one. And even worse, that thought was from somebody else. So today's message is to just leave high school forever. And it is simply a metaphor for undo what you know was done to you. You know when it happened, and start to just question whose life you're living and whether or not there's any value in living the life according to the thoughts and designs of other people from high school, or to live the life that you want. So that's day 20. So on Sundays, I'm doing a recap of 1 to 20. So I'm just going to share with you very quick, rapid fire, 1 to 20, so that you can kind of get a quick overview, especially if you're new. So day number 1, and again, if you're following me, this is day number 20 is what we're on right now. But I'm sharing with you a book that I'm taking, or from a lesson I'm taking in my life coaching class, called 100 Ways to Motivate Yourself and How to Change Your Life Forever by Stephen Chandler. So day number 1 was awesome. It was get on your deathbed. Live with the end in sight. So if your life is not going in the direction of where you ultimately want to be, you have the power to change the course. Day number 2 was to stay hungry, to get a vision for your life. That was the one where I went through Arnold Schwarzenegger, and he talked about how, at the beginning of his career, he didn't know how he was going to become a Hollywood star, but he had a vision in his mind's eye that he was going to become a Hollywood star. And he believed, because it said in the Bible that God told us to get a vision for our lives, he believed it. He saw it, he manifested it, he made it his reality, and he didn't give up until he succeeded. Day number 3 was tell yourself a true lie. See yourself living the best life. If you are having a problem getting a vision for how much you can accomplish in your life, then tell yourself a lie. Write the script of this character you want to play, and then step into it. Day number 4 is keep your eyes on the prize. Focus on the right thing. This was the one I went through with Jimmy Johnson, where he taught us that he shared with his team he can put a 2x4 on the ground and they could all walk across that 2x4. But if he put that 2x4 10 stories up, as they walked on it, they would not focus on what their goal was, which was walking across the 2x4. Suddenly they would focus on their fear. So realize that in your life sometimes you might be living in accordance to your focus on your fear as opposed to being focused on your goal. Number 5 was learn to sweat in peace. You know summer's coming, so do what you need to do to prepare yourself now. So, today I know summer's coming. I want to be able to lift my children if they have an accident and fall down and scrape their knee off their bicycle. I know I need to get strong now. I need to slim down now. Do it now. Sweat in peace. Day number 6, simplify your life. Guys, if you have too much clutter and crap in your house, declutter. Sometimes just walking around in a messy house is a metaphor for your mind. If your mind is too messy and you can't control your thoughts and you can't stop your thoughts, it could be that your environment is just too messy. Number 7, look for the lost gold. Okay, so what was this one about? Yes, change the way that you look at things, and the things that you look at change. So just see where there's opportunity all around you. Even if it means to think outside of the box in terms of solving your own problems. Push all of your own buttons. You have control over what motivates you. You know what motivates you. If you have a hard time waking up in the morning, but you're motivated by certain songs, put your alarm clock on your cell phone and make that song your alarm ringtone. That's amazingly powerful. You just got to push the buttons that work for you. You know what buttons to push to annoy yourself, so push the buttons that motivate you. Build a track record. Quit quitting on yourself, and then start collecting evidence of ways that you don't quit. So for me, how I quit quitting is I'm starting by not quitting by doing 100 days live for you. It's one way I'm just teaching myself to, build a track record. Number 10 was welcome the unexpected. Think outside of the box. This for me was, like for example, I don't like to exercise. So I'm thinking outside of the box. I'm going to start roller skating. It's so stupid, but I don't even care. I'm dropping the high school mentality. I don't care what people think about me. Nobody can see me in my driveway. I'm going to roller skate. Number 11, find your master key. Always be a student. When I firmly believe that when the student is ready, the teacher appears. And the point with this one is realize that self-development is not for the weak. Self-help is not for the weak. Find your master key. You know where you're weak, so start developing strengths where you're weak. Dive into self-help. Get a book like this one that I'm reading. Follow life coaches like I'm a life coach. Do what you can to find your master key, the switch, the, how do I want to call this? The manual for life to tell you how to become awesome, and then start being it. Number 12, put your library on wheels. If you have got a commute, you have tremendous opportunity to stop zoning out and to download the Audible app, subscribe to Audible, to buy a book on CD and listen to it while you're driving on a topic. You can get one from the library for free. To listen to podcasts. I mean, totally take advantage of the downtime that you have, the time where you could fill your brain with things. If you're cleaning, put a podcast on, listen to Audible, plug your phone into some headphones, run around your house, even while you're running. There's tremendous opportunity for you to put a library on wheels for yourself. Number 13, definitely plan your work. You guys, this one is single-handedly changing my life. Every night, just something so simple as, you know, every night before I go to bed, I have a PM routine, and that PM routine sets the stage for my AM routine, and my AM routine sets the tone of my day. What's my PM routine? My PM routine is I make my coffee before I go to bed. I get my bottle of water ready. I get my calendar out. I make sure that, I know what I'm doing for the next day. I get the kids' breakfast ready. We make sure their backpacks are ready. I'm not sharing this with you to be egotistical or boastful. I'm sharing this with you because I'm on this journey too, you guys. This book is helping me to change and to motivate myself. And so when I wake up in the morning with that PM routine having been done, my AM, the tone of my day is completely different than if I wake up in the morning, backpacks aren't done, breakfasts aren't set, coffee's not made, my water's not poured. I'm a mess. And I start to show up as a version of myself for my children and for my family instead of who I want to be. So if I know who I want to be, I start the night before and I set the stage the night before. And in the morning, the tone of the day is set and started. And that doesn't mean the day's going to be perfect, but definitely plan your day, plan your work. Number 14, bounce your thoughts. What was this one? Oh, this one was the one where he talked about, kids. If you're coaching a basketball team of kids and they always dribble with their dominant hand, teach them to dribble with their opposite hand. And immediately you're going to notice they're going to say, I can't bounce the basketball with my opposite hand. And the correct response is not that you can't, it's that you haven't yet. You haven't tried yet. Try the same thing with yourself. If you are not motivated to get on that treadmill that is currently, a place for you to hang clothes, or in my case, just, a piece of fun gym equipment for the kids in the basement, start to realize you can do anything you think about. You just haven't yet. So start. If you're thinking about it, you're thinking about it for a reason. So that was Bounce Your Thoughts, day number 14. Number 15, light your lazy dynamite. Have you lost motivation or do you have overwhelm? Break your goal down. Have lazy dynamite. Light a fire under your tail, move a mountain. Or light some lazy dynamite. Take your big goal and break it down into small little goals. Today, you might not walk on that treadmill, but you might take all the clothes off of it. Tomorrow, you might just say, just 5 minutes on the treadmill. Just do 5. That's lazy dynamite. You can do that one. Number 16 was choose the happy few. You guys, we are the average of the 5 people we spend the most time with. Who are you surrounding yourself with? And the 5 people you spend the most time with, they don't have to be physical. They could be whatever you're listening to on the radio, whoever you're watching on TV. You are a product. You're an average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Good morning, Rhonda. So choose wisely. You have the power to choose who you spend your time with. So if the people around you don't support you or the people around you don't have your back, get some new friends. Choose wisely who you spend your time with. Day 17 was learn to play a role. Channel your inner thespian. Thespian is your actor, actress. Fake it until you make it. This was the story I shared with you about Rebecca, this woman on MTV's Real Life. She amazed me with what she was accomplishing. And if she could accomplish going to medical school to become a brain surgeon and at night working on becoming a fitness like a fitness competitor, then I could work hard on finishing my college degree. And that's what I did. And she motivated me. So learn to play a role. There were times where I woke up and I channeled my inner Rebecca. I'm not kidding you. You've heard the about the bracelets, what would Jesus do? There were days where I woke up and I'm like, what would Rebecca do in this moment? She was the example that I had, and it worked for me. So learn to play a role, or find somebody that motivates you and emulate your life after them, to the extent applicable, obviously. Day 18 was, don't just do something, sit there. This is the story of, people always say, why do I get my best ideas when I'm in the shower? Because it's the only time you shut the world off. In a roundabout way, it is the time you're with God. It is the time when you're meditating. Meditating is not a religion. Yoga is not a religion. Getting alone with your thoughts, shutting everything off and listening to what you're thinking about is amazing. So the metaphor of, getting the best ideas in the shower, take the shower outside. Sit alone, in your bathroom if you have to, like I am. Get alone and listen to your thoughts. Think about where you're going in life. Get a vision for your life. Like day number 1, get on your deathbed. Where do you want to be? Start writing out a script. Get that plan. Do the AM routine. Do the PM routine. So don't just do something. Sit there. Get quiet. Make a point of just turning everything off every now and then and being in the silence and hearing God. Day number 19 was use your brain chemicals. There are so many natural chemicals that you can create in your body that so many of us seek from caffeine, from wine, but we could get that naturally in our bodies just by being active, just by being social, just by releasing our souls and realizing that fear could be holding you back. So just know that anything you need in life, you have. You're just not leveraging the magic God has given you in your body. And day 20, which is today's message was, leave high school forever. Stop letting what other people have told you about yourself to shape who you are, to hold you back from who you're meant to be, and to keep you from your greatness. So leave high school behind. I did it. You can too. Have a good day.